Hey guys, Catburger here. It's time for another video. It's been a while, and I've had several requests for a video on transmissions, how gear shifters work and stuff. So let's do this real quick. Let's start with the basics. Of course, we need a power source, like an engine right here, which powers something, right? Let's say it's directly connected to a wheel. First a suspension, then a wheel. And let's take a look at the graph. This is direct connection, just the engine into the wheel gives us 92 kph at 55 meters per square second acceleration. No, this is not a transmission. Well, it is. It's the most basic transmission there is. The axle transmits power from the engine to the suspension. So, yeah. But that's not the complicated part. Next thing you need to know, apart from needing a power source and a wheel which are somehow connected, is gear ratios. Let's say you have this corner gear here and another corner gear here. So 2 times the same gear, yeah. Let me try to connect this up real quick so we can get a graph. And this is basically the same as what we did before. It's exactly the same as transmitting power directly from the engine to the wheel, because this is a 1-to-1 ratio. It's the same gear size, right? So same graph. Same graph. Now, basic principle you need to know, if a small gear like this one powers a bigger gear like this one, you get more torque but less top speed. This one needs to spin more often to rotate this just one time. So this spins faster, this spins slower. This gives you more torque, but less top speed. Right? Now, if we flip this around, it's the exact opposite. Let's put the medium here, and the smaller here. Now a bigger gear powering a smaller gear. This gives you more top speed and less torque. Let's check the graph. See, less torque. This is the torque, but more top speed. This is the top speed, obviously, right? So these are 2 different gears. And obviously, you want to combine them in one drivetrain. So you can have the advantage of the gear with a lower top speed, but more torque, and the advantage of the gear with a higher top speed. So what we need now is a shifter. Let's start with the very basic gear shifter 2. The 2 shifter. Let's connect it to the engine. And this has this extending thing which takes an axle. So let's put the axle in here. Let's put our gears. 1 medium, 1 small. You see they move when the shifter shifts. And it's now we need to connect it to the other side. So let's put a small here, a medium here, line this up. You see if it shifts, we got this connection first, small to medium, lower top speed, higher torque, and then this one, more top speed, lower torque. Right. Now let's connect this up somehow so we can get a graph. Mechanics. Let me do it like this real quick. Right. Up. Let's put an X right there to connect it. Good. And let's make it black because I don't like this white snow color. Yellow snow color. Whatever. Let's take a look at the graph. It's a 2-speed. You see, we got the one gear, the lower one and the higher one. One with more torque and one with more speed. And that's basically the principle of building transmissions, gear shifters. Everything different from this is just more complicated. You know, if we now want to make it a 4-speed, it is pretty simple. We got 2 gears already, right? And we want 2 more gears. So what do? 2 times 2 is 4, right? So let's change the input to Where's my engines? Here's my engine. To this side, we get power from this side now into this 2-speed. If we would connect the wheel here and reconnect everything back up, it would give us the same graph as before, right? But what we want to do is add another 2-speed, like this. I still will start connecting this up right away, else it will get a little bit messy later. Like this. This is just ugly connections. This is not to make it elegant or anything. This is just so we can get a graph, because things are actually connected. Right, and let me build this one. So we wanna get 2 variants of the 2-speed we had before. So I'm gonna bring a planetary gear into the mix, which gives a ratio of 2.3, gear transmission factor 1 to 2.3. So this multiplies the speed by 2.3 if it's in this orientation. If I flip it around, like the input going in here, it divides by 2.3. So this is a nice multiplicator. And I want these gears to go through this gear without the planetary gear to get the first half of my transmission, and then I wanted to go through the planetary gear and connect from here to the wheels for the second half of my transmission, right? So let's put in another axle again, so we can connect all of this to an output, to a wheel. Is this sufficient? Yeah, this will work. Let's put the suspension here and the wheel here. And now let's connect this up. This is the first position of the second 2-shifter. This is the second one. So we want a small gear here to connect behind the planetary, and then one here to connect before the planetary, right? So one here, one there. Let's take a look at our graph. And voila, we got a beautiful 4-speed. Now, if we would, for example, put different gears here, like behind the planetary gear. Let's put some different gears here and let's see how the graph changes. Let's make this a 1-to-1 ratio. What we can see now is that the second half of our graph moved to the left. Right? It's still this part of the graph you see on the green thingy. It's the same, just moved to the left, because we lowered the ratio of this half of the transmission. Sounds complicated, but it's pretty easy. See, it was this connection right here. It was a medium to small before, and what we learned right in the beginning is that a bigger gear to a smaller gear gives more top speed. Right? So this is 1-to-1 now. So it is a lower top speed than it was when it was medium to small. That's why the second half of our graph moved to the left. We got less top speed now from the last 2 gears, from the third and fourth, right? Because the third and fourth gear is basically just this half of the transmission multiplied with the planetary gear and whatever ratio we put here. So let's put it back like it was. And we get our old even graph back with nice gear spacing. See how that works? See how that works? Just the same, if we switch the gearing here, do the same thing. We will see the same effect. Now our first half of our 4-speed, the first 2 gears should have moved to the left, should have less top speed. And that's exactly what happens. See? This half is now further to the left, more top speed. And we got a bigger gap now between second and third gear. It's not as evenly spaced anymore. Now, on the other hand, if we do this 1-to-1 ratio before the planetary gear as well as behind, then the whole graph moves to the left. See, we have less top speed now than we used to have before. So you can control the spacing between your first half and your second half of your transmission by changing the ratios on the let me call it multiplying part of the transmission. It all is multiplying, but that's how I think about it. Let me put it back to how it was. Like this. Right? And now we got more top speed again. The whole graph moves to the right. No, something went wrong now. What happens? Oh yeah, this gear is in the wrong position. Obviously, this needs to be here. Right. There it is. There it is. See, that's our original graph again. That's how you do transmissions which have more than 3 speeds. Because some people might think, here are the building parts. Oh, we have a gear shift 3. 2 different one of those, by the way. So all I can build is a 3-speed. No. It's all multiplying. If you combine a 2-speed with another 2-speed, you get 4 gears. If you combine a 2-speed with a 3-speed, you get 6 gears. If you combine 2 3-speeds, you get 9 gears. Yeah, it's multiplying. Unless you have duplicate ratios. And let me get into this right now, because there's a very cool and interesting 5-speed I really like, which is wild. I think his name is Hard Rock. He built it. I think it's on the Steam Workshop as well. And this looks super confusing, but it is so satisfying. It is a 5-speed and it is super compact, as you can see. The graph looks like this. Pretty tight gears. Let me reload it so the old graph is gone. Right, pretty tight gears, very nicely spaced, and it's so compact. I love this thing. The way it works, yeah. Let me first remove this chain because it's in the way, and then let me move this part up so we can see what's happening. A little easier, sorry. Right, let me move this up too, else it's just confusing. All right, so we got 2 3-shifters, right? This one and the one on the bottom here. This one, right? Keep in mind that there's another 3-shifter on the bottom here, because you won't see it most of the time. Now, if they are on top of each other and in between them, here's a layer of warm gears, which are connected with some other gears, right? And for every position of the shifter, of both shifters, obviously, it connects to a different warm gear right here. Same for this one. See this? It is super hard to explain. I'm doing my best, but I know this will be very confusing. So if this one is in its first position, all the way extended, and the lower one is in its first position, all the way extended, they connect through this warm gear. So it's a 1-to-1 ratio, right? Small gear to warm to small is basically a 1-to-1 ratio, as if they were connected up directly. We got power going into the lower transmission, by the way, and power going out of the upper one. In this case, you can flip it around, it doesn't matter, makes no difference. But in this case, that's how it works. So, power through the shifter, into the small gear, into the warm, into the small gear, into the V, right? This is the first connection, like this. Now, if both shifters move one position back, they do exactly the same thing. Connect directly through a warm gear, give you a 1-to-1 ratio. Same if both are in the third position. Direct connection through a warm gear, 1-to-1 ratio. So we have 3 gears, 3 positions, which are the same already. This is 2 3-shifters. 3 times 3 is 9. So you could get a maximum of 9 gears out of 2 3-shifters. This is 3 gears which have the same ratio already. So there's only 6 gears left. Now, this is where it gets funny. If this shifter is in the first, no, let's start at the bottom. Let's start where the power comes in. If this shifter is in the second position, right? And the top one is in the first position, connecting here, right? Let's follow the powertrain. This one connects to this worm gear right here. This worm gear is on the same axle as this small one. This small one connects to this medium, right? This medium. So we get a small to medium right here. Then this is connected to another small. This small is connected to another small, 1-to-1. All right, so we still got only small to medium ratio difference. Small to small. Then this one is connected with this small one, connecting to this medium. All right, so we got small to medium, back to small. So this is 1-to-1 basically. So we still only got small to medium, right? And this goes to this worm gear. And right, our lower one is in this position. Our lower shift is in this position for what I just told you, right? But it ends up, the powertrain ends up here, which connects to this shifter to the output. This stays in the first position, right? So we got one ratio here, and you can follow the powertrain through all those 9 different positions, and you end up with 9 gears, which are beautifully spaced. I think it is the lowest gear, I think, is 2 times small to medium, then 1 time small to medium, then you got the 1-to-1, then you got medium to small, and then you got 2 times medium to small. I think this is the ratios this transmission works with. And I love this thing. It's so beautiful and compact. I used it, for example, in... Come on, load game. I used it, for example, in this car right here. Oh, this is the one which is on the workshop, right? And you can see how small and compact that is, right? We got the 6 engines here in the rear, 6 IGNs. We got a seat and the steering wheel. And inside the nose is this 5-speed, right? The 5-speed is hidden inside here. It is so tiny and compact. I really love it. And the graph of this thing is pretty much exactly what I just showed you. Just with a slightly different output ratio, probably. Yeah, of course we got more power, of course we got more engines, and the top speed is higher than in the basic version, yeah. But this is the 5-speed. So this is another old tech way to build transmissions, and I really love it. That's really nice. And now let's take a quick look at the new tech stuff. It is pretty simple. Yeah, let me show you. Let me show you a very basic setup with new tech stuff, with the dynamic gear shifters and things, and the 3 gears. 3 gears, not 3 gears. So let me get a power source first. Again, like this. Then we put an axle like this. And yeah, these are the 3 gears. And this is a gear holder, and this is a dynamic gear holder. This gear holder dynamic is basically the same thing as a gear shift 2. It's a shifter with 2 positions. So let's put it on the axle here. And then let's say we put a 3 small here and the 3 medium here. And then we get another axle into the mix, like I think it even matches like this. Yeah, these gears clip into each other. I actually like it. The hitbox of this one is like of a normal small gear, and the hitbox of this one is like a normal medium gear, which is a good thing. Else it would be pretty hard to build compact stuff if the hitboxes were any bigger. So they clip into each other. You can build it like this, but you see they don't mesh, right? For them to mesh, you need to use chains. Click the gear, click the gear, click anything else, middle mouse button, or select another part to finalize the chain. Then you will see the animation going. If you don't do this, it won't work. I know it's a little confusing, but still, You select the chain, click the first gear, the second gear, and then select a different part. And then the chain is placed. Now, this dynamic gear shifter connects either the one gear or the other one to the axle. Both are on the gears and the dynamic gear holder, right? So we got two different ratios now we can shift between. The only problem is if I now connect my suspension and put a wheel on it and let it calculate to get a graph. This is only just the previous graph, the old graph. There is no graph. Yeah, current graph, nothing. Right? That is because these three gears are called three gear for a reason. They don't have the cross-shaped hole, they have a round hole. So usually, oops, wrong button. So usually they don't connect to the axle they sit on. They need something to connect them to the axle, just like this dynamic gear holder does, right? Let me put the axle back in. Now, for them to connect with the axle, we need either a dynamic gear holder or these normal gear holders, which are always engaged. See? And now we can shift between these two gears, get a different rotational speed on the output axis, and now we can actually calculate the graph for this. See, it's a 2-speed. Now, this all works just like the other shifters too. It just gives you a few new options. Let me show you a nice NewTek 4-speed, for example. NewTek White, yeah, this one is good. And let me remove the chains real quick so you can see what's going on. By the way, to remove a chain, you just delete at least one of the gears the chain is connected to. That's how to remove them. It's not very intuitive either, but yeah, well, now you know. Right, so the thing which is going on here is that this part here, this part right here is our first 2-speed, and this half right here is our second 2-speed. It's a little confusing for how it is laid out. If I, oops, yeah, all right. Why did that move now? I don't care. If you lay it out like this, I think it becomes a little more obvious that this is a 2-shifter and this is just another layer with another 2-shifter, right? If it's connected like it was before, if it's laid out like it was before, it is a little confusing because people might think that this is just one axle, though it is not, right? These are two different axes. Now let me put the chains back in. We don't need a chain here. We definitely need a chain here. We definitely need a chain here. We definitely need a chain here. Now we got this half. Oh yeah, and by the way, if you're wondering with these dynamic gear holders, do they only work with the 3 gears? No, you can combine it with normal gears, with the traditionals. So we got these 2 gears here. Starting, and power comes in here to either the medium, giving us a medium to small, or to the small gear, giving us a small to a 3 medium. So these are 2 ratios. And this axle, yeah, right here, we get another 1-to-1, and then we get a medium, 3 medium to a 3 small. This is the second half of the transmission. And let me show you the graph. It doesn't work. Why does it not work? Why does it not work? This game is so fucking buggy. Do I need this? I don't need this, do I? Why does it not work? Okay, it should work. The game is just stupidly buggy, yeah, and it is pretty annoying sometimes. It worked before. I just opened it before I started the video. Now it doesn't. I don't know why. Sometimes you have to play around with it a little bit. Oftentimes it's due to the 3 gear bug. In this case, it can't be because it worked before. 3 gear bug, you really should know about it. because there's some weird stuff going on. It can be really confusing and really frustrating. The thing is, these gears, these new free gears, they are made so they can connect diagonally with other gears, like this, for example. You don't need the chain for them to mesh. They connect just like this. They mesh just like this, which you can see because we get a graph, right? We get a graph. It's just a single gear, of course, but there's a graph, there's a connection. So this is nice. I never really used it because it's, well, I did once, I think, to connect a steering wheel, but most of the time, to me personally, it's useless because it only makes things bigger than they need to be. The bad thing is that there comes a bug with this. Because if you now, for example, arrange this in a different way, like this, yeah, now the two gears are on a different plane. They shouldn't mesh, they don't mesh, there's no animation, nothing. But let's take a look at the graph. Holy moly, we still get a graph. And if we test drive this, there's actually power to the wheel. Right? So these two gears, which definitely should not mesh, they do mesh diagonally. And it's not just with the 3 small gear, it's also with the 3 medium gear, and it's not just with meshing 3 gears meshing diagonally with a small one, but also with a standard medium gear, you know, and it is super confusing. There's several threads and bug reports on this on the Discord. I highly recommend you join the Discord if you want to get into this game a little bit deeper. There's so much knowledge on the Discord, it's just amazing. You can learn everything and more you need to know about this game if you're a little patient. Yeah, but this free gear bug, I really hope it gets fixed soon because it is super annoying, especially if you try to build compact stuff with new tech. It gets in the way so often. And yeah, well, hopefully we will get another update soon, and hopefully some of this stuff will be addressed, just as well as this weird bug with the transmission not working like it worked before. And yeah, it's super annoying. Now, however, there's another thing you can do. You can combine old tech and new tech shifters, of course. This one looks complicated, yeah, because it's laid out super compact and it's a little confusing like this. But this is a 6-speed, and first of all, we have a 3-speed built like the Hard Rock 5-speed I showed you a moment ago, with 2 layers of old tech shifters. These are just 2 shifters, and this one just gives us a 3-speed. But it's nice and compact, right? And then this is combined with a new tech 2-speed, which you can see right here. You see, it's this part. It's this part. It's basically just adding or taking out a planetary gear of the drivetrain, like adding a planetary gear to the drivetrain or leaving it out of the drivetrain, you know what I mean. So this is a 2-speed times this 3-speed, and it is a 6-speed. And it is, let's say the dimensions are special. It's not the smallest 6-speed you can get, but I made it for a very particular car. And for that particular car, it was perfect. I don't think I uploaded it yet. Let me find it real quick. It's this one. Yeah, it's this one. And if you take a look at it, it's a nice little compact race car. And the whole rear is basically just transmission, right? And that's the 6-speed, which is integrated into it. And it gives you a nice graph. Nice graph. Right there, see a nice 6-speed. Third gear is a little longer than the rest, but I think it's still beautiful, and it definitely works beautiful. It's very nice 6-speed. So that's another thing you can do. You can combine old tech and new tech stuff. And well, one last thing I want to get into, because it might be confusing to some people. Let's take this very simple one again. Let's say let me load it again so you can see it better. Let's say this is a nice 2-speed. You would just want a nice 2-speed. I mean, no one ever does, but let's imagine you just want a nice 2-speed. Only the top speed isn't high enough for you. What you can do now is start changing around the ratios here, but you don't want that. You like the ratios, right? You like the how this part of the transmission compares to this one. You just want it to be longer, faster overall. So a very simple thing you do is you change the final drive, you change the final output. The simplest way to do it, one of the more extreme ones, but the simplest way to do it in this case is just putting a planetary gear here. And now the whole thing is 2.3 times faster. See, we got over 300 now. This is a little extreme, right? Usually you don't need to or want to adjust that much, but you can adjust the final drive however you want. Let's say we just want to make it a little bit different to what it was before. Gear it up just a little bit, then we take the 3 medium, 3 small and gear it to a normal small gear. Put the chain for the connection, and now it is geared up just a little bit, right? This is just a little bit faster than when it was 1-to-1. This is 1-to-1 again, basically as if there was no gearing at all in this place, right? See, this is just a little slower than what we did before. Now, if you want it even a little bit more slow, you do it the other way around. Let's put the small one here. Oops. Put this one here. Get the 3 medium right there. Connect it up with the chains again. Select chain. Click here. Select something else. And now the final drive is just a little bit lower again. You see what I mean? So if you got a good transmission and you like it, you like the ratios and everything, it just doesn't give you enough top speed, just gear it up at the output. You know what I mean? Very simple. Something you should keep in mind. And yeah, that is basically it. I'm pretty sure I forgot about half of the stuff I wanted to tell you, and I really hope it wasn't too confusing. It isn't easy for me to explain because most of this stuff is very obvious to me. But of course it isn't to everyone. So yeah, I hope this still helped. And like I said before, I really recommend you join the Discord because you can learn a lot of stuff on the Discord. There's so knowledgeable people. It's just amazing. And yeah, that's it. I don't know what else to say, guys. Like the video, leave a like and a subscribe. Even if I don't post much, sometimes I do. So maybe it's worth it to you. And have a good one. That's it. Bye-bye.